Hello, welcome to the sixth module of Immigration Counselling and Management course. And we'll be looking at scholarship search and application strategies. We'll look at the types of scholarship. We will look at major global scholarship providers and platform. We'll also look at step-by-step scholarship research techniques. Techniques will match scholarship to client's profile and also preparing scholarship application documents, writing motivation letter and personal statements for scholarship. And lastly, we will also be looking at managing deadline and application timeline. For scholarship landscape, um, scholarship are financial awards which are provided to support students in pursuing their academic goals without the full burden of tuitions and related expenses. And they are offered by government, universities, international organizations, private foundations, and also corporate corporation. And the types include fully funded scholarship, which deals with coverage in terms of food tuition, living stipend, health insurance, travels, and the likes. And it is actually highly competitive, often government sponsored. And example include prestige award for outstanding students. And for partially funded scholarship, these are actually a percentage of tuition or a fixed monetary award, and it is more widely available, often university based. And this can be combined with other funding sources. And the next is grants, which is often for specific purpose like research, project, conferences, and it may be need based or fit specific, and it supports innovation and specialized work. And who provides scholarship? We have the government, we have the international organizations, we have university, and we have private foundation and corporation. And this can actually target specific groups like women in STEM or fields and the likes. Major scholarship providers and platforms include for government-sponsored scholarship, which are mostly fully funded. They are competitive programs promoting international cooperation. Example include the Fulbright, which is for USA, the Chevening, which is UK, the Australia Award even, which is for France, and the DAAD, which is for Germany. And for international organizations and multilateral agencies, they actually um, focus on the SDGs, and targeting professionals in development fields. Example includes World Bank scholarship, the UN fellowship, Commonwealth, the Commonwealth. Look at the Commonwealth scholarship, who internship. The next one that we'll be looking at is actually the university-based scholarship. The university-based scholarship. And when we talk about the university-based scholarship, this is actually the institutional funding through merit, needs, and also assistantship. And example include the Rhodes, which is for Oxford, the Gate Cambridge, the NATE NSC, which is Stanford. You have the Yenshin, which is Penking, and also we have the Toronto Scholar. And there is also the private foundation and corporate scholarships, and they actually support women in STEM, leadership, um, and entrepreneurship. Example include the Google Anita Borg, the Microsoft Women in STEM, the MasterCard Foundation, and the likes. We have the Global Scholarship Search platform, and this is actually a centralized database with filters, alerts, and also guidance. An example includes scholarship.com, the DAAD database, study portals, internationalscholarship.com, and the Scholar for Dev. These are examples. And lastly is the regional scholarship program. And for this, it actually promotes mobility within specific region. Example include African Union Scholarship, Erasmus Mundus, which is Europe, and New Colombo Plan. We have it. We have and some others like that. What are the steps in search for scholarship? A step-by-step scholarship search techniques. The first one is define goals. That is level of study, field, preferred country, funding needed, and also assess profile. Evaluate academics, experience, leadership, and financial needs. The next is to start with university. Start with universities. Explore funding on the website of targeted um, universities or institutions. The next is to use search platforms. Apply strategic keywords like fully funded PhD engineering Canada, and you also check government sites. Look for national scholarship programs. Also track everything. Use a spreadsheet to monitor deadline and also um, requirements. Also, you diversify, um, apply to a mix of highly competitive and moderately competitive options. Don't just stay in one highly competitive. You can actually diversify. And the art of matching scholarship to clients. A scholarship is a perfect fit when the client's profile aligns with the scholarship mission. And when we talk about this, for client profile, as per high GPA or research, you need to look for scholarship that values academic excellence and research potential. For leadership and volunteering, you need to actually look into community impact and leadership skills scholarship. For work experience in development, you need to actually look at sustainable development goal scholarship. And for financial needs, you need to actually look at need-based assistance scholarship. And for specific field, like the public health now, you need to look at field specific grant or award scholarship. And ethical matching. In ethical matching, you need to be realistic. Don't encourage application for which the client is clearly ineligible. In preparing the scholarship application packages, the core documents that are needed include the academic transcript and certifications, the curriculum vitae, the recommendation letter, the test score, which is language proficiency, and any related graduate exams. And also, you need a motivation letter, which is a personal statement, and it is actually a most critical um, narrative document. And you also need a research proposal for postgraduate research applicants. And writing a winning motivation letter, what is the purpose? It's actually to tell your story and convince the committee you are the right investment. And the structure include an introduction which states your purpose and capture attention. The next is your background, which highlights academic achievements, skills, and also experience relevant to the scholarship. Another is why the scholarship, which demonstrate deep understanding of the scholarship's mission and explain why you are an ideal candidate. The next is future goal and impact, which is explaining your career aspiration and how you will use this opportunity to make a positive contribution. And lastly, the conclusion, which reaffirms your commitment to your commitment and thank the committees. For motivation letter, you have the do's and don'ts. For the do's, you have to tailor each letter to the specific scholarship. You need to provide concrete example of your impact. You need to align your goals with the scholarship mission. You need to be honest and authentic, and you need to proceed meticulously. And for the don'ts, you need to they use don't use a generic essay for multiple applications, and then don't make vague claims like I am a leader. Don't also ignore the scholarship stated objective. Don't exaggerate or fabricate achievements, and don't submit with spelling or grammatical error. The critical role of recommendation letter, um, it includes who to ask: the professor for academic ability, or supervisor for work performance and character. And how to ask: you actually ask politely and early, at least 4 to 6 weeks before the deadline, and you provide them with your CV and scholarship details. And what makes a letter strong? And first is specific example of your work and character. The second is enthusiasm for the referee, and the last one is alignment with the collaboration. Scholarship criteria. Now, in managing deadline and timeline, why early planning actually wins. Scholarship deadlines are fixed. Missing one often means waiting a full year. And a timeline management strategy include create a master calendar. Maybe with the use of spreadsheet, you work backward, identify key milestones, and also set internal deadline before the final date. Then you have to prioritize, focus on application with the earliest deadline first. And also you need to submit early. Aim to submit at least a few days before the deadline to avoid technical issues. And lastly is to track post-submission, that is monitor for interview invites or request for additional information. Common timeline pitfall: you need to avoid procrastination, you need to ignore referee, you need to be careful of ignoring referee time, that is assuming referee will write letter overnight. You need to another pitfall you need to be careful of is test score, that is forgetting that language test takes weeks to deliver results. Also, the document processing, that is not accounting for the time it takes to get official transcript. And the time zone confusion also need to be you need to be very careful. That is missing a deadline because it was in the host country time zone. And in practice, you need to prepare 6 to 12 months in advance for major scholarships. Key steps to scholarship success: you need to start early, you need to research deeply, you need to match strategically, and you need to write authentically, you need to review rigorously, and you need to also manage time meticulously, and you need to diversify applications. In conclusion, scholarships are not won by chance, but by strategic planning and preparation. Understand the different types of funding, and also use structured search processes involving official university, government, and also trusted platform sources. Match the client's profile to the scholarship mission, which is very, very important. And high quality application documents, especially the CV, motivation letter, and recommendations, are essential. And lastly, managing deadline with a disciplined timeline is a non-negotiable skill. Mastering them strategically transforms scholarship from distant possibilities into attainable opportunities. Thank you.